Dear members of the Virginia School Board Association, families, and neighbors, my name is Gleb, and I'm a freshman at Washington Liberty High School. To be honest, standing here feels like I'm still not entirely a high school student, as just some time ago, I was still in middle school. Walking into the high school on the first day filled me with a genuine sense of excitement and fear. I was worried that I would get lost in the 4 floors of hallways, or even worse, in the crowd. But what I've discovered in almost 9 years of public education is that public schools do not just give you a seat in the classroom. They provide you with access to an entire system. For me, the idea of being rooted in public education began all the way back in first grade, when arriving in Virginia from a foreign country. I was constantly surrounded by helpful teachers and staff who were doing everything possible to help me. From navigating the school building, sometimes it was important to know where the restrooms and cafeteria were, to learning how to speak English. Fast forward to middle school, where I encountered a challenge with selecting classes. A quick visit to my counselor solved the problem in just 20 minutes. In the 4th quarter of 8th grade, my understanding of the public education system was going to drastically shift, as I would find out that I was accepted into Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology. This news brought up a crucial decision for me, whether to accept the offer or not. On one hand, I was invited to join one of the best high schools in the nation, while on the other hand, I would lose a welcoming community I was rooted in for 8 years, and that made it possible to get into the top school in the first place. I chose to reject the offer, not for a less rigorous school and a chance at better grades, but for the resources and the system my public school community has to offer. In the transition to 9th grade, it is easy to feel untethered, but I found my center in biology class and on the baseball team. That's where I realized that public education does its most important work in spaces like these, where a teacher notices you're having a bad day and pulls you aside, or where a coach pushes you to do one more rep when you thought you could not. That sense of belonging is not just about fitting in. It is about being held, knowing that there's a system of counselors, librarians, and educators who are deeply invested in my success is what allows me to stand tall. I belong to public education, and because of that, I belong to the future of Virginia. My interests have also shifted over the years, but one particular thing has stayed consistent: the strive for learning. Even though my interests have changed, going from a lab scientist to an engineer to a businessman, I have relied on a wide variety of school clubs and school programs to help me have a better understanding of what each of these routes entails. I have also realized that school is not just about getting an A on the test, but more so the process. It's about the knowledge I gather, the way I think, the interests I discover, and the lifelong connections I build. Public education hasn't just handed me a map. It has been preparing me for adult life. My goal isn't to get a job anymore, because of the challenging discussions we have in my English class and history class about justice, technology, and our role in the world. My goal is to be someone who contributes to the commonwealth. To the members of the board, you are often tasked with looking at data, budgets, and test scores. But I'm here to remind you that from a perspective of a 14-year-old at a neighborhood high school, your work is about building the system. When you support our teachers and fund our programs, you're ensuring that students like me don't just pass a test, but find a purpose. You're making sure that we are prepared to handle the pressures of 2026 and beyond. I am a student of the Commonwealth, and because of the public education I receive every day in Virginia, I'm ready to grow. Thank you for your attention.